Hello students. For the starter, I will let you think about it for a couple of minutes. You can pause this video for a while and you should try to think of what should be the number to replace letter A, B, C, D, and E here. So you can pause the video for a while to think about it. So if you have done it correctly, then the value for A should be 4, B 7, C 53, D 4, and E 60. So I hope you got it right. The next one, we will talk about measures of dispersion from group data and especially cumulative frequency chart. So the part that we have done before in class, we are not going to discuss too deeply, but only the new one. So when you are asked to identify the model group, for instance, here the model group, you know that you just have to figure out the highest frequency. So for the female students, it is 17. And it means that the group, which is the model group, is 150 to 160. In this case, the data is about height of female students and male students. And for the male group, the highest frequency is 26. So then the group, which has the highest member of students here, is 160 to 170. So it means the majority of your data, the female ones are mostly between 150 to 160 centimeter high, and the male students between 160 to 170 centimeter. To estimate the mean height, you again just have to use your calculator, enter the data in 2 columns. So you need to figure out the midpoint, of course, of the height. So again, 140 plus 150 divided by 2, so you have 145, and so on and so on. So this is a column that you have to enter in your calculator as the first column, and the frequency column is the second column. And then you already know how to figure out which button to press. So if you have done it correctly, the mean for females should be 160 centimeter, or for male students is 162.7 centimeter. Okay, so drawing histogram on the following page is also nothing new for you, and because the data is continuous, of course we do a histogram. And don't forget, when you label the number, it should be in the corner. So 150 here is in the corner, 150, and so on. So if you read it, there are 4 people who are in between 140 and 150 centimeter for the female students. So which is this part here, 140 to 154 students. Okay, and so on and so on. So you can pause the video for a while and complete your own chart. Okay, so the next one is the new question for today, a cumulative frequency curve. So as you know, as the name suggested, you need to figure out the cumulative frequency first. So you can complete this column here, make just a new column there for cumulative frequency, and you can complete it. Don't forget to check whether this is all correct. Okay, so to figure out the cumulative frequency chart, the group will be still the same. However, the cumulative frequency, we have to be a bit careful because it adds up all the time up to 40 for female data and 60 for male data. So we have to be careful so that we have enough space for our chart, the box there. So the x-axis, the group data, will still be the same as the histogram there. However, the frequency axis here will have a different scale, because instead of just a normal frequency, we will have a cumulative frequency, and the female data goes up to 40 So we have to make sure you have enough space. So in this case, we will go by, let's say, 4 every time. So this will be 4, 8, and so on and so on. So I hope you are neat when you are working on this table. You see there the group on the x-axis is still the same as the histogram, 140, 150, and so on. So now, when we start with the cumulative frequency curve, we start from the first group, 140 to 150. However, in the corner, you start from 0 here, and then by 150, you should reach 4, because that's the frequency of the first group. And by 160, you should reach, let's check again, our cumulative frequency, 421, 35, 40. So then 4, and then 21 here approximately, 35, and 40. So this is more or less what's going on. So you will have a chart that looks like this. You can try and work it out smoothly. Okay. So similarly, for the male data, you will have to check the cumulative frequency, 24, 50, and 60. So 24, 50 about here, and 60, and of course you start from 0. So then if you draw a smooth curve, it should look like this. Okay, it should not be so difficult to do this. So now, how can we find the 5-point summary for each gender? 5-point summary, you know that already. It's the minimum value, Q1, median or Q2, Q3, and then the maximum data. So this is for female, and the other one is for male. So this time we are not going to use our calculator, but we are going to approximate it using the cumulative frequency curve. So when we are asked to do it using the cumulative frequency curve, it's just an approximation. So sometimes one person might have a number and another person will have a different number, which is 1 or 2 values difference. That will be okay. But try to do this accurately. So minimum number, minimum data will be easy. That will be 140 for female and 180 maximum. So this is 140 minimum and 180. For Q1, median, and Q3, this is a little bit more tricky. So first of all, if you have 40 data here for female, we have 40 data, 40 students that we have collected the data on. So what is a quarter of 40? So Q1 is the quarter, 1/4 of the data. A quarter of 40 is 10. So then we are going to check on 10. So at 10 here approximately, use your ruler, by the way. We are going to draw a horizontal line until you meet the curve. And then once you meet the curve, you are going to drag it down to the value here. So approximately it's going to be 154. So approximately 154. For median, we have a half of 40, which is 20. So then easily we are going to drag from 20 here a line horizontally that will cut the curve, and then we will just draw vertically a line down, and then we see that it's around 159. So this is 159. And for Q3, we have 3/4 of 40, which is 30. So approximately here. And using similar method, then we have about 166. So again, it is approximation. In your chart, depending on how you draw it, then you might have 1 or 2 values difference, and then it should be okay. Right, so from here to calculate range and interquartile range will be easy, because range is then just maximum minus minimum. So for female, this will be 40. And interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So in this case, it will be 12. So that's the topic of today. You can do the male data similarly that way as well. Okay, so you can try it yourself. And don't forget now, for male data, we have 60 of them, 60 boys there. So then when you are looking for a quarter of the number of data, then you will actually have 15. And then 2/4 or a half will be then 30. And then 3/4 will be then 45. So try it yourself. And the answer is actually there on OneNote. You can have a look to the note 4.8 and you can check the answers. You can finish the rest of the practice in the worksheet as well for today's class. Good luck!